Uh, First, obviously, with the way our season has gone, none of it would be remotely possible if it wasn't for the level of really concentration and dedication that the players have and their level of determination and their improvement. There's no way around that. I mean, they've done nothing but gotten better throughout the year, and I can see it even this week. But I also want to make sure that everybody out there understands how great a staff that I get to work with that we have here. And you hear it from the players, you hear it from me, but at the end of the day, I've worked with some great staffs, and our staff last year was outstanding. This is as good a staff as I've ever been with, and for a lot of reasons, from top to bottom. And the contributions that these coaches make, especially, starting with Tim Buckley and Chuck Martin and Rob Judson and Jade Grossman, who's been here since day one, Brett Berman, obviously, what we have when it comes to Tim Garl, what we have when it comes to Marnie Mooney, what we have when it comes to Lionel Anderson, Beth, who's back now from her maternity leave. Everybody that's a part of this has not only done a great job in their role, but they've helped other people with theirs. And to me, when you have coaches like we have, in the sense of the way that Tim and Rob and Chuck can teach, the way that they can inspire, the game planning and the scouting that they do is extraordinary. Obviously the recruiting, but they're a huge, huge part of the development of this team. And to me, one of the things that always stood out to me, I know I've said this before, not lately, I don't think, but one of the things that always stood out to me when I was growing up, and then when I was coming up as a coach, and then being even a head coach, is the Indiana staff were always household names, not just in the state of Indiana, but anybody that paid attention to it. Obviously, Bob Knight was a household name around the world, but all the coaches that were part of those staffs, they were highly respected, and that's what I've always wanted to have happen here, for the people that were on this staff, and I hope that it is, because we've had guys like Steve. I knew we were going to miss Steve a lot, and the ability to move Rob up has just paid enormous dividends, because losing Steve was going to be a blow. Just like a year ago losing Janae, it was going to be a blow. And Chris Virtue stepped in last year and did fantastic, and then in comes Lionel, and now Stephen Houston working with him, and we just keep getting better and better. So I wanted to say that because anytime, I said this on the radio show the other night, anytime you get awards as a group, or anytime you win a championship as a group, there's a lot of reasons. And I know it's we're looking for the when did this turn, when did that happen? It happens over a period of time because everybody stays really consistent with their teaching, they stay consistent with their dedication, and they bring it every day, and that's exactly what this staff is doing. So as far as our week, and then I'll open it up to questions, we feel good about the way that we're preparing. We're preparing for both games. For both teams in the first game, but we're also preparing ourselves. And I think we've had a good week. I didn't look at this and say, okay, let's get ready for Michigan one day, Northwestern the next. We do enough in the last 2 days to get a good feel. So tomorrow, when we get on the court in practice or walkthrough, depending on how we do it, it's really just reviewing again, other than if there's something new that's been added between the last games and tomorrow. And at the same time, we've made ourselves better. And when we study the film and we get on the court, you start with your best players in the sense of certainly starting with Yogi in the sense of what he needs to improve on. And when he's jumping on that, there's no reason for anybody else not to. And that's why I feel good about our week. We haven't overdone it by any stretch. Most of the guys didn't go on Monday, even though they stretched and did the cold tub and all that type of stuff. But we did work out a group of guys. Yesterday was a lot of movement and offense, not contact. And today we had a live practice. And tomorrow we'll go, relatively short and sweet and crisp to get ready to play on Friday. Rob Johnson is making strides. I can't predict where it's going to be. It's still too early for that, but there's no question that he's making strides. Jawan is better, even though I'm being extra cautious with him. And at the same time, he's definitely doing pretty much everything that we're doing right now, so we fully expect that not to change. And everybody else just keeps making progress. So go ahead.
You guys have a little bit more time, but what kind of challenges does the
What kind of challenges? Oh, we don't look at it like that. I mean, it just is what it is. It's the next time we play. So the only difference is you don't know who you're playing. But this time of year, we would be so concerned about ourselves and our concepts and making sure that we're cleaning up and even adding. You know, we're adding on both ends right now with different things that we want to do, even on the offensive end. But we spend the time getting ready for both, and it's really more in a breakdown. They're two different teams. They play fast, a lot of ball screens, but we'll go against. We would guard them two different ways, you know, for the most part, you know, in the half court. So, but these guys are really mature. You know, we do it on one end, and then we go on the other end. Rob's got Northwestern, Tim's got Michigan, and we go. And but at the same time, it's very fundamental based in the stuff that we're doing. So it's just refinement for the most part, other than the things that we're adding. So we don't look at it like that. And it's the next game on the schedule. You're just not quite sure which one it's going to be. But I've done it both ways in the past, where you get ready for one day, one the next. You don't get ready for either one of them. And you get ready at the last minute. This team's mature enough to do both. They know the difference, and they have high respect for both of them.
You mentioned the other night just all the pain Juwan was in after Iowa. To see him bounce back, to see him battle, to see him actually just play the other night, how much does that endear a player to his teammates, to his coach, just to see him, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I think none of us are surprised with him. He's highly respected. He's been respected for some time. And it was two different. The other day was a non-contact injury, and the other day, and then Tuesday night was a contact injury. So everybody feels for him. I mean, he was in the locker room, obviously, when we got back, you know, after the game. So he really didn't miss anything like that. But we've had guys go straight to the training room after games. I mean, he's got a toughness level, but at the end of the day, they've got high respect for him, not only as a person, but for how he contributes to winning. And I think OG, certainly Thomas, and Harrison has moved into that same boat. So when you've got four freshmen like that are impact players, impact people, and the players know that they need them on the court, and they feel very comfortable with them, especially the older guys, that's a great thing. But Juwan, the extra thing about him is he can do so many different things, and he's just going to keep getting better and better.
I know you said it doesn't come down to any one moment, but when you do think back to that Notre Dame game, what, in the context of coming back, staying together, I think Troy said that really just sort of learning that if everybody stayed together and sort of stayed focused on the same thing, that they'd be capable of coming back from almost anything. What do you feel like your team got out of that experience?
Halftime. Halftime was the turning point. And we didn't play like that in the beginning of the second half, obviously, because we got down 16. But even when we got down 16, there was no anger and panic. There was urgency, but there was no anger and panic. And because sometimes anger can come across as frustration, and panic can come across as doubt, like you can't win. Urgency is a whole other deal. And I know I felt it, and I think they felt it. And Yogi settled into the game after having a first half where he was pressing too much. Troy certainly played better, and we got it going. So if we would have panicked or conceded or tried to rush back into it, it's another story. And we were playing our best basketball of the game when the game ended. And that was one of the great things about it, is not only did we make the comeback, but we were getting better inside of the comeback. And sometimes you use all your energy to make the comeback and you don't have enough left to push it over the top. And these guys weren't doing that. So, and they learned, if we go back and look at it, it's believing that you can come back from deficits, but it was really that the defense made the difference for them. So I guess that would probably be the biggest thing. But we came out of halftime, even though, again, like I said, we didn't play well, you know, getting down to the 16, but we came out of halftime with a different resolve.
Tom, you said Sunday you didn't want that to be a game of closure. Did you have to start them back up as you got into practice, or did they just kind of?
Not at all. No, not one bit. And they follow the routine. The routine changes some, but no, not at all. And we don't like slice the season up either. I've done that before, but you just keep moving forward. I mean, and every day when you've got a good path like these guys are on, you know, you're going to have some really good things in the day. You're going to have some things you want to correct in the day, but at the end of the day, did you stay consistent in trying to get better? And they've really been good at that. So there's no reason to change what we're doing in that sense.
Defensively, has Nick maybe turned a corner these last couple weeks as far as maybe just playing a more complete defense?
Well, he's got to keep getting better at that. I wouldn't know if I'd say turn the corner. He's got big matchups, right? And Tim Buckley made a great point to the team today. There is no place to hide anybody this time of year. So you've got to hold your own. And you not only have to be an individual defender, but you have to be a really good team defender. But this time of year when it comes to March, and really our league prepares us for that, right? But this time of year, there's nowhere you put somebody and hope that they don't figure it out. And when you watch films of other teams, especially as we're getting ready for Michigan and Northwestern, well, Northwestern's maybe not quite as much because they're going to run with their system, but Michigan is really looking for that matchup. I'm sure Northwestern is to a degree too, but Michigan's really looking for the matchup that they can exploit. You don't want to be that person, and we're looking for those matchups, right? And you just want to make sure that you've got a bunch of committed individual defenders that are connected with their teammates, so you get excellent team defense. Nick's got to be as big a part of that as anybody, especially with Robert not being there.
You mentioned not rushing and not playing panic. Does that become even more important now that you get to these neutral courts and so much more on the line?
Well, I think the whole key is to not treat it like there's a lot on the line, because there's been a lot. The key to this team is that I've said this, and again, you could see the games, but at the end of the day, it was the preparation. The way they prepared for the games in December, outside of Notre Dame and people like that, the guarantee games, it was really good. I mean, there was, and it starts with Yogi. It really does. It starts with the older guys, I should say. But I mean, if Yogi dips a little bit in his preparation for one of those games, Nick has been around. Max is new to us. It's very easy for everybody else to dip a little bit. They never did. And so the bottom line is this team has taken every game with a high level of seriousness. The Penn State game, we tried to make things happen too fast, too quick, and not the right way. So that was but it wasn't from lack of preparation. And it wasn't from lack of focus. It was from lack of recognition when we got in the game of what was really there. But for the most part, we haven't done it all the time for 40 minutes, but we've been able to work our way into that. And I think that's the key for this team. The key is we just keep, to say day by day, I know it sounds corny and boring, but it's really what we're doing. And as long as we stay focused, again, when you walk in and they know that we're going to have things that everybody's got to get better at, we're going to focus on them, and in turn that makes them better as a team. And they feel that, because your real confidence comes from your level of improvement. And when you know you're getting better, even when you're missing some shots or having some tough moments, when you know you're getting better, your confidence stays high. And I think we've seen that in our games. When we've struggled, guys have still played out of it because they know they're improving. When you're not improving, or when you're not in great condition and you're relying on something and all of a sudden it's not there, and then you lose that mental toughness, then it's really hard to come back from. And these guys are really gaining a lot of mental toughness to go with the physical improvement. So to me, let's stay with where we're at and keep getting ready for each game. They're well aware of what time of year it is. I mean, they know. I mean, they're sitting in there watching the end of NC State Duke and turning it on to the Minnesota-Illinois game. They know. I mean, they're basketball fans. And but it's also kind of cool walking in there to hear them talk about, well, what would you do here? What should we have done there? What would we have done? I love when they're talking like that. You want a bunch of guys that are having conversations about things that are going to make them better. And so, in answer to your question, we just stay absolutely locked in to what we're doing that day. Anybody else? That was a long answer. Go ahead. Anybody else? Anybody? Okay. Thanks.
All right, well, now that a few days have passed and Big Ten tournament's coming up, I mean, how do you guys just channel all the success and try to, you have your regular season Big Ten title, how do you take that to the tournament?
I mean, it just really falls on keeping the same mindset that that got us here in the first place, not changing up anything, keep doing what we're doing, keep getting extra work in, extra treatment, extra film, anything that we can do to help us.
How much does the double bye help you guys in terms of preparation and having a couple of extra days of game or however it may be to get ready for your first game of conference tournament?
We just work on ourselves every day, get better every day with what we're doing, and sharpen things up and get the details in line. And we don't know who we play till tomorrow after around 2 o'clock. So we prepare slightly for both teams or whatever, and get ourselves right, and then have a short time of prep. And but it's mostly just us, so we just focus on what we're doing and our details.
I know there's probably not like sort of one pivot point of the season you point to, but what did that Notre Dame win up there mean for you guys, just the way you did it, to be down at halftime and to rally the way you did to win that game? Just kind of what did that mean to the course of your season?
It showed us what we could do when we just stay with it, stay together, keep doing the right things, and listen to the coaches and their game plan and all. Of course, Notre Dame's a great team and all, and we were down, I think, 16 or 15 twice in that game, and we came back and still won it by, I think, like 7. So that right there proved that as long as we stick with it, we could still find a way to come out with a win. And we had those moments in games this Big Ten conference.
Seems like you guys have done a really good job of playing loose and free, and that becomes more important as you get into the postseason. What's been the key to make that happen? Now, you think you'll be able to take it forward from here on out.
One more time? Sorry.
Just, not playing tight is really key to the postseason.
Yeah.
Neutral environment kind of fosters that.
Just staying focused. We have a lot of offense where we can just play free, and everybody can be in constant movement, and we really are allowed to play free when we get stops and run outs and get in transition, because we're really just playing at that point. But we don't have to get uptight when we stay with what we do and what we do well. We know it works, and we just got to stay relaxed and keep everybody focused as a team. And being able to play free really comes in when we get stops in transition.
Would you rather see Michigan or Northwestern on Friday?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. We're going to come out with the same mindset, and we're going to prepare the same ways, maybe a few minor detail changes here and there for different teams, but we're going to come out the same way with the same mindset, and we're going to be the same team.
Is there a point, maybe January or something, when you noticed Juwan was maybe ready to take that next step, maybe ready to take on more responsibilities in practice or otherwise? Is there any point that kind of sticks out for either of you?
Really, he's been put in situations like he has been on the courts since before the Big Ten season. One thing that we work on is not having a certain position, but being a spot person. So in any spot that you're in, you can just be able to play and just know what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it, and still be able to make reads and decisions in those spots. But as for Juwan, he's been. It's just now coming out, but we've been working on it. It's not anything new or nothing that we just came up with on the spot. We been putting him in those situations.
I think he said a few months ago, maybe the first few weeks, first month or so of the season, he was playing a little scared. Did you notice that at all, maybe practice or in games, just maybe tentativeness that comes with being a freshman?
As a freshman coming in, you're not really used to everything. A little, I guess a good word would be shy to try things out or do things. So, once he got the confidence, it's definitely showing now on the court.
At the same time, what goes through your mind when you look up and there's 5 forwards on the floor and Juwan Morgan bringing the ball up against Melo Trimble? Is that just maybe a credit, talking about Colin, just what he said about playing free, is that maybe just feeding more of that for this team, that versatility?
It's definitely versatility to us. It shows that we can have more than just one ball handler, 1, 2, maybe 3 ball handlers. It shows that we have another person who can make reads and decisions on the fly.
Does it feel any different going into the tournament being the number 1 seed as opposed to where you guys were a year ago?
No. Yes and no. We just have a lot of confidence as a team, confidence in each other, confidence in our staff. But we're a different team than we were last year, clearly. But we do have a lot of confidence in each other, and I think that's one of the big things that's carried us to where we are at this point.